Hey everyone, I want to talk about creatine. Okay, I've been taking creatine since I was 17 years old. I'm almost 50 now. I take 5 to 10 grams of hydrate, the most inexpensive and most effective form. Take it in water. I no longer do the loading phase that we thought we had to do back when. I do take a complete week off of creatine about every 4 months or so. It's kind of what I call a washout. You urinate out a bunch of water that creatine was kind of bringing to the muscles. I like to do that from time to time with supplements just to see what effect it continues to have over time. This isn't for any particular reason. You don't have to do it, except I think it's a good idea to see what a supplement is doing for you. And if you've been taking it for a very long time, to periodically just remove it, unless you need it for medical reasons, of course, and see, how much strength persists, how much water you're holding under the skin as a function of creatine. And that brings up the question that I'm getting most often these days. Many people, especially women, are asking me, does creatine make you hold water under the skin? And I do think that if you take enough creatine, that it needs the amount of effect of bringing water into the muscles, that you'll get some spillover into under the skin. There's not a ton of data to support that, but there are enough people asking about this, saying, hey, in particular, like smaller women who are working out, or larger women who are working out, and they'll say, oh yeah, I take 5 grams of creatine and I get stronger, I feel better, but I feel like it's putting some water under the skin. I don't doubt that that's true. For some people, that threshold might be 10 grams. So I've heard, okay, this is anecdotal, but I've been hearing from a number of them that I suggested, well, why not just take 1 or 2 grams per day? But first do a washout. So you do a complete washout, you take a week off creatine, and then you take 1 gram per day or 2 grams per day. See if that gives you the effect you want in terms of fitness, and muscle performance, cognition too, which we'll talk about in a moment, but doesn't provide that subcutaneous water hold. And they've all been very happy with those results. Of course, the exact amount that each one of them ends up taking regularly, whether it's 1 gram, 3 grams, or staying with 5 grams, varies because they're different sizes, have different amount of muscle and body composition and so forth. But so as a specific thing, play with the amount of creatine within a reasonable range, anywhere from 1 gram to maybe 10 grams, depending on how much muscle you're carrying, and see what works best for you. And I do think doing this washout every 4 months, even though it's not supported by any peer-reviewed studies, if anything, it just allows you to see how much of an effect you're getting from creatine when you go back on. So that's the rationale for that. At least that's why I do it. The other question I get a lot about creatine is, does it make your hair fall out? And there I'll say clearly no. I don't do anything to augment my hair growth. I don't dye my hair. That's not to say if you dye your hair, I'm disparaging of that. I don't do anything for my hair except shampoo it. Obviously I don't dye my beard. So, for me, creatine is definitely not inhibited hair growth. That said, my genetics and a few other things, just kind of like my balance of various hormones, make it such that my hair grows really, really fast, and it always has. I will say there is something that I take that I do think increases the rate of hair growth, although I have no peer-reviewed studies to support that, and that's NMN and NR, which promote NAD. I don't think NAD is going to increase my lifespan. I do notice anytime I take something to augment NAD levels that my hair grows much, much faster, my nails grow much, much faster, effects that I'm not seeking. My barber likes that effect. I'm not seeking that effect, but it's something I've noticed. And if you're somebody who likes to experiment with supplements and you want to check it out, great. You can go out there. There's a million different places you can get NMN. NR is sold by True Nitrogen. Don't have any financial relationship to them, so they didn't tell me to say this, by the way. This kind of thing. I don't think creatine causes hair to fall out, at least not based on the scientific literature. There's one study showing a small effect on dihydrotestosterone increases DHT, and indeed in men, when DHT levels go up, the tendency, depending on your genetic makeup and the distribution of androgen receptors on your head and face, the tendency is for your beard to grow and hair to fall out. But a number of people take creatine and they tell me, it makes their hair thinner. I don't know. When you see that, or you experience that, and then at the same time people are telling you there's no evidence that it makes hair fall out, my suggestion, as I like to think a rational person, is, well, if that's not an effect that you want, if you think it's thinning your hair, just don't take it, or take less, and then do that washout and see if the effect goes away. Not everyone's going to react the same to these things. So for people to just constantly be ramming down our throats, no, it doesn't make hair fall out, and no, it doesn't make you hold water subcutaneously. Take into account what you are experiencing. Yes, the placebo effect is a very powerful thing, but take into account what you're experiencing and adjust any supplement, and for that matter, nutrition and training protocols right. That's what I gotta say about creatine. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section below this post. I'm certain I'm going to get a lot of questions about NAD, so I'll do another thing about NAD, dosages, etc. in a future post. And as always, thank you for your interest in science.